Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Buttonwillow Raceway, where we have a comparison video some of you guys have been asking for. Now, I don't really want to call this a good comparison video because, well, we have my 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S with over $20,000 worth of work done to it, and, well, my completely stock 2022 BMW S1000R. Now, this is, again, not a comparison, but if you guys are on the fence about buying a 2022 BMW S1000R or a 2021 Ducati Streetfighter, this will be the video for you because I'm going to go over and talk about all of the pros and cons to this bike and the pros and cons to this bike. So first, we're going to get the BMW S1000 out on track, talk a little bit about it. Then we'll get the Streetfighter V4S out on track and talk about it. And then we'll come back here and we'll kind of give you a little conclusion of my thoughts of riding these things back to back here on track. So without further ado, let's get the S1000 out on track and see how he does. All right, you guys, well, we are off. This is going to be a short session, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a description, a understanding of the difference between the all-new 2022 BMW S1000 Single R and the Ducati Streetfighter and Tuono. Now, you guys may have seen my videos. I do not call this a hyper naked. I call it a sport naked. I think that we will at some point get this bike into a hyper naked power. I am hoping to be able to get this thing up into the Tuono power, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a on-track side-by-side comparison of the pretty tame delivery of the S1000 Single R and the differences in the delivery of the power to the Streetfighter. So I have brought the Streetfighter, so stay tuned. We'll be on the Streetfighter next session, and we'll be talking about what we like about the differences. But this bike, what we found with the original 2018 BMW S1000 Single R that Wagner used to own, I did get to get that at the track one day, and it was just very easy to ride. It's just a very simple, easy bike. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, just kind of even keel. Now, this bike is the same. It is very easy to ride. It's a very nice, simple bike to get on and ride, but BMW has turned it up just a bit. You can see the power delivery is definitely a lot more with the new motor. The suspension is dialed in a lot more. We've got a little different brakes, a little different chassis. So the S1000 still is a very even-keeled, straight bike. It's very easy to get on and ride at any level. Even here at a track day, it's very simple. Today is my first day on this bike with the rev limiter off and on the track. And I'm really loving it. I really am. Now, nothing replaces my Streetfighter, okay? There's nothing that's that caliber. The Tuono was close because of the craziness that bike was. But as far as, like, you know, top speed power, really that that 204 wheel horsepower that I have on the Streetfighter, it's ridiculous, and it delivers it pretty ridiculous. As for the Tuono, which we used to own, the Tuono is gone, by the way. it did find a new home. And so we now have the Super Naked or the Sport Naked S1000 Single R and the Ducati V4. Let him have that. Oop. Little bit, a lot. So I really wanted to tell you guys just how this thing is comparison. Now, it's hard to compare this bike with my Ducati Streetfighter, because my Ducati Streetfighter is pretty much just nothing is the same on it. The power is just ridiculous. The brakes, RCS 19 Corsa Quarta. Brembo aftermarket rotors. So we'll talk about the Streetfighter when we're on it. This thing's pretty much stock. We have some stomp grips on it, which are proven to be very nice. If you guys are interested in stomp grips, these are the S1000RR stomp grips. They do fit perfectly. And then we have the SC Project slip-on CRT, I believe. But we have a full system coming for this. We have a Bren tune coming for this. Then we'll really kick this into seeing how this will perform as a Hyper Naked. But again, it's, you know, let's put this different, to put this in comparison. It's just even keeled. It's just so nice. I'm glad that BMW turned it up a little bit from the old first gen as far as delivery and handling and just everything. It's just a lot more refined bike. So if you guys are not looking for that wild, you know, riding naked, but you like to do some track days, this is going to be a great bike. It's a very, very nice bike. I have so far pretty much zero complaints about this bike right now. I've had it out. This is my 4th session out, and I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. So I don't think you guys will go wrong. Giving us a few extra minutes. We had a red flag and the ambulance was down for a minute, so they put us down for a minute. But if you're not looking for as wild of a bike, this is a great call. Now, let's talk about pricing options with this bike and why I chose the Sport version over the M. First of all, I didn't really like the M color scheme. I really like this color scheme. Plus, really, the M didn't offer me the few $1,000s outside of the wheels. You know, a lightweight battery, the chain I'm going to change anyways. It didn't offer enough. So I really think the M is not the bike to buy in this particular model, the S1000R. I think the Sport, you're gonna love the Sport. It does everything you need and more. It's got basically all of the goodies. So pricing wise, a lot of people are complaining about the price. At 18 and some change for this bike, puts you kind of in that Toronto factory price range. in the base V4 non-S price range. The M doesn't quite take you up into the V4S Streetfighter. It's a little bit less for the M package, but I don't think that the M package gives you what the Streetfighter V4S gives you with the electronic suspension. Yeah, baby! So if you're considering buying a Ducati, I will tell you, spend the money, get the S. No question. If you're looking at a Tuono factory, no question. I would say on the Tuono factory, wait a year, because they can't give those things away, so you're going to get it for $16,000, $17,000, which is the best valued hyper naked you could buy. I still don't like it as much as my Ducati V4 Streetfighter, but this bike in that 18,000 range, I would say, is the best of the three for rideability and for functionality. And a lot of people don't like the looks of this. The headlight mainly. Outside of the headlight, I love this bike. It is just beautiful. The headlight is growing on me, but I wish it was a little bit something different. But the rest of this bike is spot on BMW. So that's kind of a summary of our S1000R and a direct side-by-side ride with the Ducati Streetfighter V4S, which you're going to see that video right now. It's just as soon as I exit. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about how that thing differs and why, and the benefits of spending the $23,000 for that bike. But if you're $5,000 shy, you won't be unhappy with this bike. Not at all. And I think with about, let's say, I mean, you take that $5,000, I think you've got forged wheels now. I think you've got a full exhaust system. You've got more power. You've got definitely a better control. The $5,000 you save from the S1000R to the Ducati, I think you'd be very happy to be able to put that money into this bike and make this bike your own. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video of the BMW S1000 Single R, the 2022. Next up, we will be on the Ducati Streetfighter V4S over there. Stay tuned. I'm going to be on this thing very last session of the day. So we have the V2 out here today, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to hop on that thing and head out and give you guys why that thing is king of the mountain. All right, well, we've just come off track on the all-new 2022 BMW S1000 Single R. We're hopping on my my lovely 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. And we've already talked about kind of what makes that bike special and what makes that bike a little, I don't want to say better than this bike, but what makes it different? What makes this bike and that bike different? If you guys are considering an S1000R or you guys are considering a Ducati Streetfighter V4S, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what makes this bike such an animal and what makes this bike a better bike all around than the S1000R, but I'm also going to tell you guys why this isn't a better bike than the S1000R. So let's get out on grid, get out on track, and let's talk a little bit about the 2020 the 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. All right, well, let me first tell you guys, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring the bell notification. If you guys haven't already, go back. I have tons of videos in the last year of the build of my 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. This has everything that you can imagine done to it. That's why it's a little bit hard for me to compare this bike to anything. The Tuono factory, the S1000R, it's just such a hard comparison. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about what makes this bike better than the S1000 single R, and really what makes that S1000 single R better than the Streetfighter. Now, this bike has 204 wheel horsepower, so the comparison really is hard to compare power-wise. We're 40 horsepower up on power of this bike over the S1000. The suspension is way more superior than the S1000 single R. The adjustability of the suspension on this bike is just completely over the top. It is probably the one thing that I will say Ducati fell short on that S1000R is the suspension. It's not bad, but a little bit more of adjustability would have been nice where this bike has that. This bike also provides you a lot more stability control. You have Ducati slide control. You have ABS. Obviously the other one has ABS too. We'll talk about the brakes in a second, but ABS, traction control, wheelie control. But really the slide control, which I don't really use that much. I'm not a big slider. But it has it, right? Now, the brakes on this and the ABS, I have upgraded the brakes on this. I will probably upgrade the brakes on the S1000R, mainly only because, not that I have any complaints about the brakes on the S1000R, they're actually pretty decent, but I do have a brand new RCS 17 sitting in the garage, so I'm gonna put it on. But I did upgrade the brakes on this bike almost off the bat. Gave it a little bit of time, but the brakes on this definitely needed some help. And now I don't have a problem with the brakes. But I'll say I kind of still like the brakes on the S1000R because it has the linked braking. So when you're really heavy on the brake, it links to the rear and it really settles down your bike, which I really enjoy that BMW has that. It's one of my favorite things about the BMW brakes. Now the power delivery between these two bikes are again miles and miles apart. This delivery is so much more aggressive. It puts down the power so much faster and so much more aggressively. Where the S1000 single R, it's just so nice. It's just polite about it. Now, they did turn it up from the previous first gen, which I appreciate. But we'll see how that thing ends up after we get a Bren tune on it. But I really kind of like the politeness of the S1000R. So that's going to be a major difference if you guys are considering this bike. This is an animal compared. Now, exhaust note wise, obviously you guys know I have the Aero exhaust system on here, and it just sings so much. I absolutely love it. Now, we only have an SC Project over there, but nothing will compare to this sound. Nothing. Well, all right. I'll give the Tuono at idle, but I still favor this bike out here on the track. Sounds much better, in my opinion, to the Tuono. But it's miles apart from, again, the S1000R. Now, we talked about pricing, and the S1000 single R has 3 different price points. You have a base model, you have a sport model, which is the one I have, and then you have an M model with a couple different packages. The Ducati comes with 2 models and packages. The standard V4 and then the V4S. And I honestly would not consider, personally, the V4 not S. Now, with that said, the Ducati puts you in the highest price point bracket of any hyper-naked on the market over the Tuono, even over the M package on the S1000 single R. Now, I'm not a big proponent of the S1000 M package. I don't think it really does anything. Where the S model, you get this lovely suspension, which I think is some of the best suspension on the market. Now, one thing I didn't talk about on that BMW is the quick shifter compared to this one. I found today, under a lot of work, the S1000 didn't shift quite as well as this bike. I think the quick shifter hopefully will be fixed with the Bren tune. I hear it will be. So stay tuned. But the quick shifter, I will give it to the Ducati. It's one of the smoothest quick shifters. Now, I hear that Aprilia has stepped up their game, and I will tell you, 3 years ago when we rode the Aprilia RFs out here, it was the bottom of my list. I did not like their quick shifters, but after 2019, now 2021, they have figured it out, and I hear it is something to talk about. Just shifts. It doesn't matter where you're at. It just kind of shifts. The S1000R, I gotta kind of the throttle a teeny bit. So I think all in all, if you guys are looking for a sport naked that isn't over the top, that's not just dumb crazy, that S1000R is really going to be your bike. You're really going to enjoy that bike. Now, if you want to kick it up a notch, then maybe consider the Tuono. But what I'll tell you with the Tuono is the values of Tuonos just plummet after the year model. So if you guys are looking for a Tuono right now, look at once the 2021s are released, look at a 2020, you'll see that they're just available at stupid discounted prices. So, where then you get into the S1000R, and they actually retain their value pretty well. We bought our 18 for, you know, it was a couple years old, but it had like 600 miles on it or something. And we put a few bucks into it and sold it with what we bought it for, so it definitely holds its value. But I think, you know, value-wise, I think this Ducati Streetfighter is the way to go. It's going to cost you more, but at the end of the day, I think it's definitely, as far as holding its value, I think this is going to be the bike for you guys. Now, you're going to spend a little bit more money up front. Like I said, this is not the cheapest in the collection. But if you guys can really, if you guys can afford the extra $5,000 and you want that wildness, this is the bike to be on. But if you kind of want to tame it down, you want a good all-around sport naked that just is just nice, it's just lovely, that S1000R is gonna be the bike. I know people don't really like the looks of it, but I don't mind it at all. I actually really am starting to grow on it. So I'll say two totally different bikes. Very, very hard to give you guys a good comparison between the two because they're so stupid different. But then on the flip side, they are just both absolutely amazing bikes. I don't think you would be disappointed with either one of these bikes. If you're on the S1000R, if you're on the Streetfighter S, please trust me, the S1000 or the Streetfighter V4S is the way to go. You guys are going to be happy either way. So I hope this guys gave you a little bit more insight. If you guys are considering the new bike, you're not going to go wrong with it. But this, of course, is always my love. I will always love this thing more than anybody else in the collection. I will not probably ever get rid of this thing. It's just such an amazing bike. I really love it. But there you go. So thank you guys again for sticking around and sticking with me on the S1000R, the Ducati Streetfighter V4S. Do the normal, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, ring the bell notification, because I'm gonna actually head out on the Panigale V2 with the new aero exhaust, so stay tuned for that video. This thing is almost done, but I'm trying to figure out what else we can do with it, so comment down below if you guys are interested in some more stuff here. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys are here for the S1000R, stay tuned because we have a lot going on with this bike, so stay tuned. But all right, here we are back at the end of the day with the Streetfighter V4S and the BMW S1000 Single R, and I have to say it was a joy to ride both of these bikes on track. This bike is so manageable. It's just so much of this, okay? It doesn't deliver the power like this thing does. This thing is an absolute wild animal. Now, we're dealing with 204 wheel horsepower compared to, I'm gonna probably say about 155 wheel horsepower. So we're talking almost 50 horsepower difference. But the BMW S1000 held its own today, and I'll be honest, I really enjoyed this bike today. Now, of course, this is my baby. I love my Streetfighter, and I did amazing laps and sessions out here on both of these bikes. So again, this comparison video is really to walk you guys through the difference. If you're on the fence about a Streetfighter and you're on the fence about an S1000R, hopefully this video will help you out. Now, stay tuned if you guys are going to be getting the S1000 single R. Stay tuned because we've got a full build coming up on this thing. If you guys are new to the channel and you haven't seen the build on the S1 or the Ducati Streetfighter, you guys are in for the treat because we have a year's worth of videos already lined up for you guys. Go back, watch them all, and then stay tuned because we do have some more stuff going on here. But this is our next full build. But thank you guys for sticking around. It's a hot one out here. I'm gonna get in some shade, but thank you guys again. Do the normal, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring the bell notification. Bell notification is gonna give you future content notifications on the S1000R and the Ducati. We also have a Panigale V2 in the collection. We have an HP2 Sport in the collection. Bogner just got a dirt bike for the collection. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up. So stay tuned and thank you guys for sticking around and we'll see you next video. Bye guys.